Good morning, good morning, good morning! Welcome back to Children's Church. I'm so glad to have you here with me. Happy Resurrection Sunday! I'm so excited. It's one of my favorite times of year. This is the day that is the basis of our entire religion. It's kind of the big one. I shouldn't have, but I did jokingly call this the liturgical Super Bowl to my dad. He thought it was kind of funny. Today we're talking about joy, the joy that Jesus brought. We talk about that at Christmas, but today we're talking about it at his resurrection. We left off at Jesus being arrested, and we know that after that he was tried, he was beaten, he was crucified, and he was laid to rest. So this is what happens on Sunday morning. Well, actually, I want to tell you about how closely his tomb was guarded. So we're going to start in Matthew 27:62. And then we're going to jump into Matthew chapter 28, okay? The next day, which followed the preparation day, the chief priests and Pharisees gathered before Pilate and said, "Sir, we remember that while this deceiver was still alive, he said, 'After 3 days I will rise again.' Therefore give orders that his tomb be made secure until the third day, otherwise his disciples may come, steal him, and tell the people he's been raised from the dead. Then the last deception will be worse than the first. You have a guard of soldiers," Pilate told them. "Go and make it as secure as you know how." Then they went and made this tomb secure by rolling a large stone in front of it and setting a guard. After the Sabbath, as the first day of the week was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, and I believe this is Mary, wife of Clopas, went to view the tomb. Suddenly there was a violent earthquake because an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and approached the tomb. He rolled back the stone and was sitting on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his robe was white as snow. The guards were so shaken from fear that they became like dead men. They were fine. They just passed out. But the angel told the women, "Don't be afraid, because I know you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here. He has been resurrected, just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples. He has been raised from the dead. In fact, he is going ahead of you to Galilee, and you will see him there. Listen, I have told you." So departing quickly from the tomb with fear and great joy, they ran to tell his disciples the good news. Just then Jesus met them and said, "Good morning." They came up and took hold of his feet and worshipped him. Jesus said, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to leave Galilee, and they will see me there." Leave for Galilee. My apologies. They're going to Galilee. This is one of my favorite parts of the story. I know Miss Mandy has a lot of favorites. Don't worry. I can have that many favorites. I love how grief turned to joy. They were coming to pay their respects to Jesus. They were sad, they were mourning, they were grieving. And then God's answer came from heaven. The angel came down, and I can only imagine the joy they felt as they ran through the streets to go tell the disciples, "Jesus is alive. The tomb is empty. We've seen him. We spoke to him. He said to go to Galilee." And another book in the Bible tells us they didn't believe them. The disciples were too afraid. But Mary Magdalene wasn't. She knew joy. She knew it was Jesus. And they did later see him in Galilee. And maybe we'll get into that story next week. But today I just wanted to talk about the joy that Sunday is here. Friday is bleak and terrible and grim and full of grief and remembrance of what Jesus went through. But Resurrection Sunday is for joy. The joy of Jesus coming back. The joy of the empty tomb. The joy of the women as they ran through the streets. Were they yelling? Were they shouting, "Jesus is alive! Jesus is alive!" I can only imagine them running, pounding on the door. Good news of great joy. Jesus brought twice when he came into this world. Once for the first time, and once when he returned. And once when he came to us. That's what I want you guys to have today. Good news of great joy. The tomb is empty. Jesus is sitting with God. Death has been defeated. Have a wonderful, joyful day, and I will see you guys again next week.